Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Deveci, your host. I'm welcoming you episode 103rd. And today is November 20th, 2025. Thank you for being with us. I'm excited to have you in this episode of the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. And today's number is 22. That is the US commercial real estate market size. It is estimated to be 14 and 22 trillion dollars. Speaking of commercial real estate, we have a great guest today. But before I invite our guest, I'd like to talk about what we had today a little bit, if that's okay, and keep you updated. Well, I had the pleasure of facilitating Hapak Industrial Association's manufacturing committee meeting this morning, and it was actually pretty good. We had a great speaker, Joe Beauchamp. He was with us. He had made a great presentation, and during that presentation, we talked about leadership and how to be a great leader in the age of AI. So that was actually very educational for all of us. And so the technology is important, of course, there is no doubt about it. But at the same time, we need to always remember the fundamentals of leadership in that sense. So we talk about these in more detail. So Joe made a great presentation, Beauchamp team, very educational, very informative. This is from this morning that we had this great meeting with the audience from the business community. And I really like it a lot because it was actually very informative, and that actually served the purpose, organizing these events. Everything is informative, educational, and our goal is to create these informative environments in HILI meetings. Very similar to the American Business Podcast, actually. We are doing similar activities in terms of creating an informative and educational business environment. I just want to share this with you before I invite our guest and keep you up to date as to what I am up to recently. All right, great. Well, today's subject is commercial real estate market in the United States. We'll talk about these, and we'll talk about a bunch of other things just to share this informative content with you. Let me invite our guest to our virtual stage, and let's get the conversation started. Mario, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. How are you today? How is your week going?
Very good. Thank you. I'm doing good today.
Yes, it was actually great to see you this morning. You were also at the HILI committee meeting. How did you like it?
I liked it. It was a good event, a great speaker, and I intend to go to an event that he's hosting in January. It's a leadership event, so I enjoyed it very much, but I still believe there's a lot more to learn in leadership from this gentleman. He seems to know what he's talking about.
Yes, Joseph Beauchamp, right? Beauchamp team. So they are organizing just to support what you just mentioned. Joseph Beauchamp, Joe Beauchamp, as we call it, as our colleague, he is organizing this event called Live to Lead. It is scheduled for January 23rd, 2026. And you can easily find it online, livetolead.com, livetolead.com. And you can learn more about this event. It's about leadership, how to build a leadership program, how to build a leadership program in your team, in your organization, as well as yourself as an individual, how you can be a great leader. That's what he's teaching with great examples. And that is actually very important. His positive energy and his insights are actually very informative and very motivational, I have to say. So that's a great event. I just want to share it with you. And another good thing, Mario, just to have to share in these, on December 12th, Joe Beauchamp will be on the American Business Podcast, on this very podcast with me, and I'll have a chance to interview him as well. So we'll talk more about leadership, fundamentals of leadership, and how leadership is evolving in the age of AI. So these are really informative and exciting conversations of our times.
Yes.
When you were listening to his presentation, any part that really struck you, that just comes to your mind, that you remember right away?
I would say, not that it struck me, it echoes things I've heard in the past and reinforces many of the things that I've heard in the past. And the more you hear it, the better it is. obviously he touted many great books, which guided him,
Yes.
which so any great leader listens to other great leaders and motivators. So he touted many books like Traction and some other books. And the other thing is about the culture of your company, and creating that culture is so important for leadership. So that's something we strive here at Industry One, but we always definitely want to enhance the culture, and I strive to be a great leader and growing my company. So hence why I plan on attending his event.
Mhm.
But yes, that was some of my takeaways.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good. My takeaway was, even though AI is shaping our lives, as well as the business world in general, fundamentals of leadership stays the same that we need to follow: the transparency, the humility, as
Yes,
well as being adapt to change. Also, the integrity and having vision and mission in an organization. Just the fundamentals that actually he really point out and he expanded on, that was actually really good for me. It's very refreshing, and I also learned some new concepts as well within his presentation. So it was actually pretty good to start a day with these kind of this type of informative presentation. So I was really happy to have that.
yes, it was
um
good.
all right, so sounds good. Well, let's talk about you. Let's talk about your expertise. Let's talk about your company. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our audience and to our listeners?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Thank you. Yes. So my company is Industry One Realty, with the largest independent commercial brokerage on Long Island, specializing mainly in industrial real estate, but we do all types of commercial real estate. But we are very well known in industrial. I'm an SIOR broker, which means I have an SIOR designation. I also work with other SIORs throughout the world. As you might see over my head, there's an SIOR banner. But it's an elite organization of the about 3,500 of the top brokers throughout the world. Um, and I do travel throughout the country, throughout the world. We do have 3 conferences a year, and it's very informative, constant education, networking with the top brokers throughout the world. So it's very productive. And Industry One, as I said, we're the largest. I have around 12 agents now, exclusively commercial, and we do about 80% industrial.
Can you tell us, please, about your career journey a little bit? How did you get started?
It's
How
it's
your career path has unfolded over the years?
it's an interesting story. I did not
Yes.
start my first career in real estate. I grew up in the restaurant business, and I got tired. It was a hard business, and I ended up in the catering business, big gourmet deli catering business. After when I was 24, I was backed by my father, and actually 23, and I had that for about almost 8 years, and I wanted to sell it because it was getting harder and harder, and just I decided to sell it, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I went into real estate as a residential real estate, went worked with the person who I bought my house from. But all my contacts that were in commercial, the industrial park where my establishment was, and I didn't want to sell inexpensive homes. I wanted to sell multi-million dollar homes. So I went and spoke to all my contacts who own businesses, big businesses. One of them was Mark Siegerman, who I did all the catering for his 2 giant furniture stores for over the years. He had the largest furniture stores on Long Island, and he was like a friend. And he said, I don't need a house, I need a warehouse. So at that time in 2003, we didn't have access to listings, etc. So I had to try to network to find some listings. And I met a commercial real estate agent. He said, you should try commercial. The short of it is, I interviewed with some commercial firms. They all wanted me. I didn't know you could get hired. I didn't know it was that easy. And I went and started with a firm called United Realty. Um, Pretty quickly, I started taking off, doing well, working hard. Because let me tell you, if you're doing 70, 80 hours a week in the restaurant business, uh, 50, 60 hours a week is like part-time in real estate business. So I was doing quite well, hustling, doing my thing. And I had different ways to get my information out there. Instead of faxing menus from my restaurant, I'd be faxing out listings. At that time, it was pretty productive. And then Mark Siegerman ends up buying a building, but not through me. And turns out I end up a few years later being his broker and renting out the other half of the building for him. When the economy changed, and I when the economy changed and he wanted to sell Siegerman's furniture in 2008, he actually ended up working for me as a real estate agent. So it was a complete flip. I worked for him, then he worked for me, and it was very interesting way how I got into this business. But I will credit Mark Siegerman. If he didn't tell me he was looking for a massive warehouse, I might not have never went into commercial real estate.
Yeah, that's a really interesting story. When you look at your day-to-day work, what are the exciting and challenging parts of your work on daily basis?
Well, the exciting part, obviously, when we have our success stories and we move companies around and we get close to a deal, there's different stages of excitement, right? As we get closer to terms on a deal, we put together a deal. We show some, first might be we show them a space that seems to work perfect. Then we have the struggle to put together the terms and negotiate a meeting of the minds, all right? So that could be very difficult, but we get there, we get that done, and then we get to the hopefully the closing table or lease signing, and everybody seems to be quite happy that they mission accomplished. Whether it's a seller or a landlord that they got their space sold or leased, or it's the new tenant or buyer that is now has their new home. So it's nice to make that happen for these people, and it's very gratifying. But to the contrary, the challenges and the difficulties of this business are, sometimes you do hit brick walls. Sometimes you have, deals fall apart for one reason, whether it's environmentals, financing, etc. I mean, we try to mitigate this and put out fires before they start. But you name it, there's many ways, a deal could fall apart. You put together a meeting of the minds, and then you create term sheets and you send it to the attorneys, and the attorneys start battling over minutia, and before you know it, something you worked 2 years to put together, because sometimes it does take 2 years to find the right property and negotiate a deal. All of a sudden, it's blown up in the attorney's offices within a month or two. And once a buyer, I've heard a few times, I can't go against what my attorney says. So, my attorney says I got to run from this deal. And that becomes the challenge. So, and that hurts. That's painful for me, not only for me, but it's also painful for the client. I know they really wanted this property, for example, and it took a long time to find them one, and everybody's disappointed. Yet the attorneys still got paid. But that being said, a lot of great attorneys out there. I'm not throwing them under the bus. The mistake, we like to try to learn from this happening and try to establish a relationship with the attorneys early in, and just say, this is what, give them the story, the background, what it took to put this deal together, and ask them to be in touch with you if there's any issues that we could strategize to overcome together. And that is, as my experience has learned, to avoid deals getting lost in the attorney's offices. And other issues might be environmental and as I said, banks and like recently the government shut down. affected us. We have SBA deals subject to SBA mortgages. Well, the SBA is controlled by the government, so those have been stalled. I have one deal now that might be potentially falling apart because the seller lost their patience. So that, of course, that is very frustrating.
Absolutely. Can you share your insights about commercial real estate market? What is the state of commercial real estate market, the industry overall? Are there any challenges or opportunities that you see in the market nowadays?
I'm going to rewind a little bit just because since COVID, we've had a lot of changes, and those are still lasting. Some of these changes, and hence why I'm still bringing it up. So since COVID, we've seen a surge in industrial demand, particularly last mile logistics. As e-commerce, became significantly important in the United States. The Amazon effect, we like to call it. It created a surge in industrial, not just in warehousing and logistics, but also in manufacturing sectors, light assembly, etc. People making a product a little better, etc. So we've seen a surge here on Long Island. We've always had a lack of demand. I don't want to say always, but over the past 15 or so years, a lack of not demand, supply, I should say. Lack of supply on good industrial buildings, where the demand seemed to outpace supply. And that's still the case, except for big box industrial right now, where we saw on the institutional developers who were never here pre-COVID suddenly discovered Long Island. They never discovered it before. It was just local players, local developers. But then we started seeing all these majors like Prologis. They may have been in JFK Airport area, but they weren't in Long Island. Panattoni, Eagle Cliff, Farrow Point. I could go on. There's about 12 of them now that were never here before. And they all decided they're going to buy properties and build industrial buildings. And it was a little bit over speculated, and there's a decent amount on not being absorbed. So in that realm, we do see an oversupply right now. But in the under 60 to 70,000 square foot range, and the smaller you go, the more demand there is with the lower the supply. So as you get under 20,000 square feet, the demand is much greater than the supply. So that's what we're seeing in that sector. That's in the industrial. In the office sector, we have seen a drop off since COVID, and there has been a little pickup as companies are gradually coming back to work in the office, but it's not quite, what they like to see, 6 or 7% vacancy rate. It's still higher than they like to see. So that's the office sector. Luckily for me, I don't do that much office. I do heavily industrial. And retail, we've seen similar to the office, where the supply was, outweighed demand. We did see in life sciences and medical and food being the lead drivers of retail. And investment, that's always steady. People are always looking to invest. So that's the 30,000 square foot, 30,000 high altitude, high perspective of where things stand today. For example, we did see a surge in rates. For example, a good industrial building, one may have been $12 a foot during COVID, and now as high as $18 to $20 a foot. So we did see a surge, and that's a rental. On a sale price, where we saw rates at under 200 a foot on certain buildings, now is teetering 300 a foot on certain buildings. So we did see a surge in the values.
I'd like to shift our conversation to AI a little bit. How do you see the impact of AI on business based on your professional observation and insights?
AI is a game changer, I believe, for many businesses who adopt it and learn how to use it for their business. I believe it could help almost any business if they adopt it in the right fashion and engage it and engage a professional potentially on how to there are so many seminars today. We all go to trade conferences and learning, and at these trade conferences, they always have breakout sessions about AI. So I've been to many, and I'm always learning how to use AI in commercial real estate. Does it apply in my field? And I'm confident whether you're making widgets or you're selling buildings, you if you're going to conferences, or even if you're not going to conferences, there are opportunities to learn how to use AI in your field, and you should be taking advantage of it before your competitors do. And unfortunately, you will not succeed in the future of AI and the world of doing business with AI is amazing on what it could do, and it's only growing. It's only evolving. I remember the initial ChatGPT versus the ChatGPT 5, et cetera, of today is is a significant difference. And now it's been only a few years. So could you imagine where it's going to be in a few more years? So if we're not learning what it could do today and how to help our business now, we'll be that much more behind a few years from now when everybody's utilizing the most optimized AI tools available.
Yes, AI and its impact on business is fascinating, and it keeps evolving. That's this a really exciting subject. And well, uh, as you know, my expertise is business software, and CRM, sales and marketing software systems are actually our core capabilities. So we work with many different organizations. We work with real estate companies as well. So and we see different marketing practices. So from your point of view, what are the best marketing practices in your industry that brings the highest ROI?
Okay, well, social media, of course, is fantastic. Getting your brand out there in social media, and your success stories out there in social media. Networking, of course, in uh, multiple organizations, business networks, of course, always worked and will continue to work. That face-to-face time where you're building a rapport with business owners, and you let them know you want their business and they could trust in you to deliver to their referrals. So that always, I believe, will work. And of course, nothing beats prospecting, whether it's cold calling, we still do it today and it still works, or actually door to door canvassing, which I encourage my team to do. It's something that in the commercial real estate world, particularly in industrial real estate, it's been the way to pull business and earn business for many years, and it still is today.
These are important insights. Thank you for sharing with us. In your career journey, you have a long career, decades of professional experience. In your career journey, have you had any role models, any mentors who help shape your career path over the years?
Well, I was lucky when I was told when I interviewed back with United Realty. There were three principals. There was actually five, but two were semi-retired like in the business to begin with. But the three principals all were excellent at one thing. One was very analytical, one was very personable, and one was an amazing negotiator. And his name was Ray Finkelstein, and is Ray Finkelstein, and he was regarded as one of the top brokers for the past 40 to 50, probably one top brokers, top 5 brokers over the past 50 years on Long Island. And I sat next to Ray. And I was already a business owner at that time. I mean, I didn't share with you my history, but by the time I had went into real estate, I've had hundreds of employees working for me over the years in different levels, and I was always had that entrepreneurial spirit. So I did have some business acumen, but I didn't know commercial real estate and the nitty gritty of it. Ray helped me to navigate that, and I did learn on how to negotiate and create a meeting in the minds in commercial real estate. And he was one of my excellent mentors. And Gary Joel Shacker was an SIOR also, and he was one of the other principals there, and he was an excellent mentor. He got me involved with he got me to appreciate SIOR. I don't want to say he got me involved. Hence why I pursued it. And there was another gentleman, Alan Yaffe, who was very analytical, and which is also important to make sure you're getting everything done right, and your numbers can be relied upon in this world, because your clients and your customers expect that. So he taught me the importance of that. So those were my 3 mentors in this business. And when I left to take over Industry One, I left on the best of terms. I was recruited years before that to become a partner at another firm, and I turned it down because I did appreciate their mentorship, and I did appreciate all they've done for me. And I said I'm going to give them a few more years of earning money so I could pay them back. And I didn't leave to take over Industry One until I was made an offer I could not refuse, and I continued to do business with United Realty for 2 years after taking Industry One over, and quite well. We worked together on a number of things, so the transition was quite amicable.
If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with our audience and listeners?
Okay.
Sometimes it is hard to say just one. You can say a couple of them.
No,
we'll take it. These are all important, great
right.
insights for us. Thank you.
So this is going to be funny, and I'm going to have to explain it.
Okay.
Don't get distracted by the wine. And that's personal to me, not because I was an alcoholic, because I'm not. It's because I'm Italian, and in my family, we've made wine for hundreds of years. I was making wine at home, and I came up with a great name that I was going to put on the bottle for the wine, which was pizza. We were going to call it pizza night because we've always had pizza nights with friends, pizzas and wine. And I loved it. And other people loved it. They loved the label. They loved the idea. Somebody said, you should trademark that. I said, you know what? I think I will. Short story is, I started a wine company with that idea, and I called Theme Night Wines. And I wanted to build it and sell it quick. And it had all these wines by the name, like ladies' night, movie night, game night. So you go to a liquor store and you knew what you didn't know what to buy, but you would buy the wine that was geared to the night you were having. So you're going out with the ladies, it's going to be a ladies' night. If you're going out to have pizza at a friend's house, it's going to be pizza. The short story is, right before COVID, at the beginning of COVID, I was approved for Shark Tank. But by that time, I already invested $500,000, and I had my brokers agents that worked for me were not appreciative of my eye being off the ball at Industry One, and because I had to devote a decent amount of time to that. Well, COVID killed that because Shark Tank was canceled during the shooting, and they postponed all the shootings. And when they came back to shooting again, they scrapped all the winners and they went with all new winners because they already had a whole new batch of applications, etc. So I was so fed up. I sort of dismantled the company, walked away from it. But the damage was done because I already had lost three of my top people at my company. Plus, I had lost a lot of momentum. I was supposed to take Industry One national to a national franchise, and plus the money that I lost. So that was my biggest regret, taking my eye off the ball with Industry One for that because of the wine.
All
So
right. Well, that's a
that,
great insight. I appreciate it.
thank you.
Well, is there a book, a show, a movie that help you shape your career perspective over the years?
I don't want to attribute it to one. I want to attribute it to um, numerous since childhood. So I remember a movie called Wall Street, with Charlie Sheen
Yes.
and Michael Douglas, and watching that and realizing do what it takes to get your foot in the door. Don't stop. And that's what Charlie Sheen did in that movie. And my mother would always say, "Where there's a will, there's a way," and that always resonated with me. And then growing up and going forward, there was movies like, The Wolf of Wall Street, or uh, you know, uh, Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. You
Mhm.
know, books like Good to Great was an attraction. Great books also. So that being said, it's a combination, a myriad of all these things coming together to help motivate me to do what was necessary.
What are your biggest interests and passions outside of work?
My passions outside of work are soccer, playing soccer. I love playing soccer. I love, as an adult, I played adult league soccer. I recently got injured, ACL injury. I needed surgery, so I
Ah,
had to take a break from that. But
what
as I started
in what
recovering,
position?
I was a striker.
Striker. Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah.
I was a goalkeeper back in the time. I haven't played for a long time, but I was a pretty cool goalkeeper in high school.
Oh, that's interesting. I love soccer, all types of soccer. Never
Mhm,
played goal. I have played, the rest of the field, but never goalie.
mhm.
But lately, it's been pickleball because it's a little easier on my damaged knee, and I've become what you might call addicted to pickleball, as many of the people I play with share that addiction. Um, and I also, when it comes to the family, I'm passionate about skiing with the family and boating with the family.
Yeah, this is really exciting. And speaking of pickleball, we have a new uh, sponsor for the American Business Podcast. We're gonna have Wilson coming in to the American Business Podcast, and they have a pickleball and golf equipment. So
Wow.
that's what we're gonna be promoting in coming weeks. So I just I can just share with our audience as well. Just haven't said the pickleball, it just triggered. So that's really exciting. Um, so we are definitely looking forward to it. This question is something that we actually got it from our audience a couple of months ago, and we asked it to our guest. If you had a chance to go back history, personally or historically, to what time period would you like to go back and why?
Okay, so there's two moments in time that I like to go back to. One was about 19, 83, 84, that early 80s. I thought there was a really good, fun times in the world for me. Particularly, I liked the movies. I liked the action. I liked I just I brought happy times for me personally. So those early to mid 80s. But from historical point of view, I really would love for a visit to, and who knows what the date is, 4000 BC. I don't know what the date is. I don't know. It's argued, but from when they were constructing the pyramids in Giza, I would like to have be there to see how it was done.
that's a that's a great point. I've been asking that question for a while. This is the first time that one of our guests actually talking about the pyramids in Egypt. So, which is this is a great point. It's a
Yeah,
mystery. It's a mystery, right?
it's a mystery that
Yes,
I would love to have the answer to because it blows my mind every time I just think about it and I get lost in it.
that is true. I mean, because when you think about all these stones, like huge, heavy, and you're talking
Yeah.
about thousands of years ago, not today's tech. Even today's technology, I don't think it's easy. So they build this. It's amazing.
Yes, yes. So that is the 2 points in time. Very, very different.
Yes.
but one is for just the nostalgic feel that I have for it, and the other one is to, really, I think it would blow my mind to witness what they did, what they were doing, and how they did it, and that I would love to see.
Yes, that's fascinating. Um, Mario, what is your career advice for the next generation business professionals, especially those who are getting into job market?
Well, whether it's commercial real estate or another field, my career advice is learn your product. Um, Obviously, devote the necessary time that it will take. Don't don't give less, give more. And I like to say, as we get older, we have kids, we have responsibilities. We may have less time to commit to our careers than we want to. We have to get home and drive a child to a practice or something to that effect. We have more responsibilities. Um, if you're in your 20s and you don't have these responsibilities yet, take advantage of that. Don't. So I would like to say, work hard, extremely hard now, so you could play harder later. So where there's a tendency among some, the newer, younger generations, Z, X, and millennials. Though now it's not millennials, but it was the millennials, where there was a tendency to kick the can or postpone, and not work hard enough until they had, to go get an apartment or had a wife or have a child on the way. And I think if they could just have the forethought to work harder earlier, their life will do be much better going forward in their later career.
For those who like to continue this conversation with you, what is the best way to be in touch with you and to learn about your company, your organization?
Well, email, of course, my first initial last name, Asaro at industry1.com. So that's our URL is industry1.com. So it's easy to find us, spelled out industry1.com. And yeah, I'm happy to give anybody advice, knowledge. When I'm often approached by people wanting to get involved with commercial real estate, and I weekly I'm approached. So I do have some videos that I direct people to that I put together to help them understand what it's like to be a commercial real estate agent and what to expect. So I would immediately direct them to those short videos. And then if they still have interest after that, then of course I have interviews, I have discussions, I let them know the good, the bad, the ugly, and make sure they know what they're getting involved with, and what this business is not for everybody. It's for the 20% that really that have what it takes to deal with rejection, deal with the slow crawl to the paycheck. It takes a while to earn your money from a transaction because of the closing process. So it's not for everybody. Not everybody has that patience.
Mario, thank you very much for sharing your professional insights and your
Thank
professional
you.
wisdom
I
with us
appreciate your time
on this
and
afternoon.
having me speak with you today. That I appreciate it very
Pl-
much.
Pleasure
Thank
is all mine, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at HILI in coming events. I'm looking
you. Yes,
forward to it,
same here.
and appreciate it. Thank you. And we also have an online networking event that we organize as the American Business Podcast. We call it the Connectional America Business Alliance. I'll
Yes.
also send you an invitation yourself or anyone from your team. More than welcome to join us. The next one is tomorrow, actually. So tomorrow
Oh,
morning, if anyone is available, yourself or anyone from your team, more
thank
than
you.
welcome. I'll send you the invite, and we do these monthly. The reason we do these in the American Business Podcast, we have these great conversations, very
Yes.
insightful, very educational. On top of it, we like to also take action and help our audience and other business professionals. We like to help them connect. So the American Business Podcast, with the name of Business Connectional Business Alliance, we organize these joint online business networking events. So I'll also send you the invite. I hope you can join it, or anyone from your team, more than welcome. But I'll send you the invite anyways.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Kevin. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We'll be in touch. Very nice talking to you, and thank you again for your time
Pleasure.
and for
My
being with
pleasure.
us.
Hope
Have
to
a
see
great day. Thank you.
you again.
Well, to our audience and to our listeners, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Well, as I always say in the American Business Podcast, there is always something new to learn. And that's a great opportunity for us as professionals to learn from other business professionals. And Mario Asaro is one of them. He has decades of professional experience, and he was so kind to spend his time with us and share his professional insight, experience, as well as his life in a way, his professional life, what he's been through, gone through, and how he has been working and operating his organization. So that was a great episode in that sense, offering you the educational content. I hope you like it. Well, if you like it, please make sure to go to our YouTube channel and like. As you know, we have more than 120,000 YouTube subscribers. Thank you for your support. If you haven't done so, please go to our YouTube channel. I'll also bring the QR code right on the screen. So if you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our YouTube channel and you can subscribe. And if you feel more generous, you can also share your thoughts, and you can also put your comments in the box. We'll truly appreciate it. If you like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, you can send us an email. It is americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. You can also reach out to us if you like to advertise your company, sponsor the American Business Podcast. We welcome it. We love to partner with you. The American Business Podcast is a great platform for you to introduce your products and services, so we can get the conversation started, see how we can help your company and products and services introduce through the American Business Podcast. We love to hear from you, and email is the best way to reach out to us, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. Also, I'd like to invite you to our website, americanpodcast.tv. We keep the website updated. You can see in episodes what type of subjects we will be covering, so you can see our coming episodes, and you can join us and you can watch live on the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Great. What else is happening? Let's talk about our sponsors and our supporters. Well, if you are an organization and if you have heavy compliance requirements in defense industry, healthcare, aerospace, nutraceutical, well, if it is time for you to recycle your electronics, your laptops, your computers, consider Pupfish USA. They are specialized in data destruction. So if you need to recycle your laptop or computer or hard drive, make sure to be in touch with Pupfish USA. They destruct the data. They raise your hard drive, completely clean it up, and also hard drives and other electronics, as per your request, physically destructed. I had the chance to be in their facility. I've seen it with my own eyes. They actually are very professional. They have a secure environment, and they literally destruct all these electronics with their huge machinery and equipment, which is really cool. And they document everything. They also send you a certificate and any other proof that actually the job has been done. And more importantly, they are great people to work with. I have their QR code on the screen. If you scan this QR code, it'll take you to their website, and you can get in touch with them. And make sure that you mention them, that you heard about them from the American Business Podcast. If you like to build your team, if you like to build your team spirit, consider SpotCorp Events. They are specialized in putting together events that help your organization build your team spirit. And they are experts in it. And their CEO also, a couple of months ago, was my guest on the American Business Podcast. And I had the pleasure of interviewing Jesse Paddle. And that's a great company, also great team, great people. You love to work with them. When you scan this QR code, it'll take you to their website and you can get the conversation started with them. And make sure that you let them know that you heard about them from the American Business Podcast. As we discussed earlier in the American Business Podcast, this month's online networking event is for tomorrow. We have a couple seats left, almost sold out. And I love to invite you. That's an online networking event. It's a professional business networking event. And the cool thing about this event is that online, you meet with other business professionals. And at the same time, you'll be on the American Business Podcast, right in front of thousands of American Business Podcast followers and subscribers. So that's a great opportunity for you to introduce your company, your products and services. In that sense, if you have time, if you are available, please join us. When you scan this QR code, it'll take you to the registration page and you can sign up and join us tomorrow. That is for 10 a.m. November 21st, Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. We're going to get started and I'll be the moderator of this event, and you can also watch on the American Business Podcast live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitch. If you are in the market for an ERP software system, such as SAP and Oracle, consider iTech Consulting Company. They are specialized in SAP, ERP, and Oracle ERP. They perform implementation, configuration, training, and support. That's actually their specialty. And they've been doing it for decades. It's a great company that I had the pleasure of meeting. And when you scan this QR code on the screen, it'll take you to their website. You can learn more about their services and you can get in touch. And make sure you mention them. You heard about them on the American Business Podcast. Well, that's it for today's episode. Thank you very much for being with us. And thank you for listening. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. I'm looking forward to having you in the coming The American Business Podcast episodes. Thank you very much and have a great day.